I am going to talk today about just an update for our ISA gear standards, or standards in general. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, yeah, so we'll talk about updates, and then we'll talk a little bit about standards in dev, and open that up for discussion, and then we can maybe have a discussion about the EN and CE updates and their impact on Slackline gear and manufacturers. Okay, general information about our ISA standards. We have one system standard, which defines the highline system, and then we have 6 gear standards that are currently released, with 1 new gear standard in development. Our 6 standards that are released are webbing, webbing locker, webbing grab, leash, sling, and connector standards. The new one in development is bungees. For certified gear, we currently have, I think, over 36 pieces fully certified that have received the safety label or are soon to receive it. There's more on the way, and we might potentially have more certified gear from manufacturers outside of Europe, so Americas and maybe potentially Asia sometime in the future, which would be nice to have more representation from manufacturers across the world. Talk a little bit about updates to our standards. The main updates that have happened have been in highline webbing this past year. In 2024, we had some major updates to the highline system standards and highline webbing standards to incorporate split setups. So that was a big year for our standards updates. This past year has been relatively quiet on that as we develop new standards. However, we've had to update the highline webbing standards from changes to the manufacturer landscape, webbing landscape. We've been finalizing high-tech sewn-loop only webbings that are to be tested without web locks. Previously, the webbing strength tests have all happened in web locks in a really large testing web lock in the lab. However, there are more and more of these ultra slippery high-tech Dyneema webbings, which break at a much lower strength in a web lock. In fact, they are not advised to put in any kind of webbing locker at all. So we've updated the standard to be able to test these webbings in a sewn loop only configuration. We're also continuously making changes to webbing lifetime recommendations after analysis of accidents, such as the one in the US where Moonwalk broke at a dramatically lower break strength. Also, we've been updating based on other issues with webbings, such as some of the nylon polyamide degradations, environmental degradations. We're potentially asking to specify the type of polyamide, or requesting that manufacturers specify the type of polyamide used, as that might have a major impact on webbing lifetimes in UV. In dev right now, first I'll talk about the inactive ones, maybe like Trickline system standard that has been in inactive development for a long time. I don't think there's been much progress on that, but that or the starter kit system standard or a starter kit standard, that's not being really worked on very much. However, we are in active development for elastic anchors, aka bungees. We're always collecting more data for lifetime recommendations for webbing. It seems like that is a huge huge update that we can make to the standard based on test results and scientific information that we gather from basic research that we are doing. Okay, so this was a quick update. Principally, we need more SafeCom board members. If you would like to help in the development of new standards or the basic research that goes into the recommendations that happen that are in our standards, please join the SafeCom. I am going to open this up for thoughts and discussions. Now, yeah.
Okay, can I start, or does anyone else have some input? Okay, I would like to propose some changes to existing standards. What we see right now is that in the existing webbing standard, it is not specified that webbings need to be sewn with a machine pattern, like an automatic sewing pattern. And I would like to have this specified for going for a completely automated sewing, to not have any manual sewing in the standard in the future anymore. I talked about this with several CE notified bodies during the process of certifying the climbing gear that I'm bringing to the market right now, that also contains sewn textile components. And multiple CE notified bodies told me that they see no chance of certifying any sewn textile component that is sewn by hand. So I think that's a really important point to specify the standard over here.
One question always to ask: do we have accidents that deal with this specific problem?
I know about at least one sewn-loop that popped open that was sewn by hand. Yes. I think this was not yet handed to the SafeCom, but I have pictures of a sewn-loop that was sewn by hand. Yes. And the guys who rigged that webbing have been very, very lucky that they had a backup from Red at their setup. So they had a backup that was not hand sewn.
Okay, something we can discuss with the other manufacturers and with the SafeCom. I personally look at this not necessarily just in the lens of what a notified body has to say. They are always interested in having standardized ways to do it, but in my opinion, it's not a safety concern. The last 20 years, especially the first probably 16 years of slacklining, everything was hand sewn. We had not problems from that.
Like I said, I'm not allowed to show them in public, but I can definitely showcase to you a picture of a completely popped up broken sewn loop that was used in a highline that popped up. And
it's very easy to pop up any sewn loop, machine sewn or hand sewn. It's not the problem with how you sew it. It's a quality question, and it's mostly also a question of how it was used, but then also I would say it has lots to do with reproducibility. So that's where the notified bodies will put their finger on in reproducibility. Yes. And I have measured, as you as well, I don't know how many hand sewn you've measured, but I've measured many hundreds of them. We also have lots of hand sewn sewings from other companies from around the world. And reproducibility is extremely good also in hand-sewn products. So this is a bad argument for me.
And also, like, another point, also the machine someone needs to use, and I saw like a lot of machined produced sewn loops which looked absolutely horrible. like
Yes.
just you don't hit the pattern in the middle of the loop. So there's the same human error, and then it just depends on the user who is using this machine. And hand sewn, no one is hand sewing a thing. It's always like with a sewing machine. They're not stitching it by hand with like a thread and a needle. So it's like, are you able to place it in the right point, and are you doing like paying attention? And then it can go both ways. Like a machine can give you also like a fully automated machine can also give you like wrong security by just not paying attention to get it like in the right point and making like the pattern not in the center of the webbing, but like going over the edge and stuff like this. And so in the end, I think it's just the user who's using this machine, how much he's paying attention to making a good job.
I think what you're referring to would be quality management. That's definitely an issue for sure, but I don't think that's a point that validates manual sewing at all. I think yes, completely automated machine sewing needs quality management, but
as does normal. I mean, it's for me, it's all machine sewed. It's not hand sewed, as you say. Also, if you machine sew, there's many different types of machine sewing. So there's like, it's not just black and white. As you are putting it this year, it's a whole spectrum of different things. And just putting like a word in there, like hand sewn or however you want to put this, or like you have to specify a certain type of machine or type of way. And this is not what the standard is meant to do. We look at the end results, we compare the end results, we look at the reproducibility. And if the reproducibility is in many cases better than machine sewn patterns, then this does not count for me. So the wording matters, and just excluding very good quality sewn loops by just saying they're hand sewn or with some other wording, it's not gonna make the cut, in my opinion. I don't think, I don't see any manufacturer, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see any manufacturer supporting this. Because many have automated sewing machines, many have them have different types of machines. So wording matters, and if you want to put forward something like this, it has to be much more specific than just excluding hand sewn machines, because hand sewn does not really exist.
Okay, what kind of term would you suggest?
Well, I'm not suggesting anything because I don't support the whole matter, so okay. I don't know.
So can we have a meeting for the webbing working group in the near future? So I will try to specify the term a bit more clearer.
Computer stitching versus machine stitching. Okay, can you specify this further, Toby?
Let's see. Yeah, here I am. Sorry. Yes, computer stitching means like a CNC machine, that the entire sewing, the entire pattern is done by the computer, not that the user on the machine has to turn the webbing, or yeah, and also the clamping on everything is really precise done. That's computer stitching. A normal machine stitching, that's what you know from a household or every machine else. I mean, there are also industrial machinery working like this. I would recommend this. I mean, there is also a bar tag machine also that make the single bar tags, and you have to place the webbing after each single bar tag again on the right position. So we have these three kinds of sewing machines. So I would propose to make this distinction between computer stitching, where the entire thing is done, and the normal sewing machine stitching.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even so, the point that was made up earlier, like even with computer stitching, it must be placed in manually, right? There's no machine which takes the end of the webbing, perfectly places it, rolls it over. So even that placing is a manual process, which is all subject to quality control. In the standards, we don't necessarily specify that method of construction. Rather, we would analyze at most the construction itself. So this is a deeper discussion for sure. Go ahead. stuff.
The problem that I see is reproducibility. If someone at the machine, working at a machine that does not this computerized process, has a bad day, is under influence, is sick, has some problems at home with their partner, whatever, some people can have bad days, and bad days can definitely have an influence on work results. We all know this. So I think we should cover this in some way. And I think computerized, like Toby suggested, I think that's a good suggestion.
Computerized stitching machines, the machines themselves can have a bad day, but components can break. So it's all about quality control and
Yes.
consistency, right?